Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very fun, not exactly Lifestyle Sunday video, not exactly De La Plante's regular content video. So I decided that I would still post it on Sunday because I haven't been posting Lifestyle Sunday videos in a while. And really the reason for that is mostly because I'm just a little bit tired of making so many videos. I want to make sure that my plant videos do not suffer as a result of me being a little bit tired. So I have stopped Lifestyle Sunday just a little bit. So today I thought that I would finally share the story with you of how my house became completely infested with spider mites. I've hinted about this and talked about it on Instagram a few times, but it has taken me a while to just be able to sit down and finally talk about it and accept the fact that this happened to me, because for so long I believed that I was invincible from pests. And I remember talking on my channel so much about how I had never had a pest besides mealybugs and whitefly. I got one time randomly, I don't even know why. I was just so proud of the fact that I had never had pests. And then I get smacked with probably the worst spider mite infestation I've ever heard of, and I really had a lot to deal with that all happening. So I have not been able to talk about it yet. But here I am, I'm now opening up, I'm doing an expose on spider mites in my house. And for support along the way, I'm going to be holding on to this beautiful, beautiful succulent pillow I grabbed from Green Decor Co. on Amazon. They are the sponsor of this video. I am really, really excited to be sharing this product with you guys because it is so beautiful and soft and cute and just all of the things that you would want in a throw pillow, especially in a planty throw pillow. I love it so much. I have laid my head on it. I have used it as decor on this spare bedroom, and I have had it for about a month, and I have enjoyed every single moment in that month just looking over and seeing how beautiful it is. I will say that as someone who sews, it is very, very beautifully constructed. The color looks a little bit washed out on camera, but it is a very nice green color. But with all that being said, the back of it is a little oh, that kind of looks like a sunflower, doesn't it? I'm so excited to incorporate it in all of my decor moving forward. It is so beautiful, and you guys definitely need to grab it. If you do want to check out this pillow, I have a discount code, and I will put it on the screen right now so that you can get shopping on Amazon for this beautiful, beautiful pillow. This pillow is available on Amazon Prime in the United States, and if you're in Canada, you'll just have to wait a few more days for shipping. And unfortunately, the US and Canada are the only countries that they ship to. Thank you again to Green Plant Co. for sponsoring this video. So let's get into this video where I tell you about the spider mites, because it's a lot. So all of this started out on February 2nd, and it was a day where I was hanging out with Adam and Nicole, my good plant friends. You guys know them. We were hanging out, we were just having a full day of chilling, and I had this plant for a long time that I was concerned about. And I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with it, but I knew that something was wrong. So I had been holding off on trying to figure out what exactly it was until my friends came over, because I knew that they were going to be coming. And I showed the plant to Adam, and immediately he says, "This plant has spider mites." I'm really itchy.
Okay, so do you have...
Oh. It's just putting out so much new growth, I wasn't sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's not a goner.
Spider mites?
Nicole, being the angel that she is, was able to document a lot of these beginning moments of me realizing that I had spider mites on this plant. And at this point in the night, we did not know how many of my plants were truly infested. And we would later end up finding out that I had around 18 plants with spider mites, which is a lot. So if you are afraid that you might have spider mites on a plant, I would say, or just any pest in general, I would say that you should isolate that plant immediately, number one. Just get it away from everything so that it can't infest anybody else. And if you have plants that are touching each other, this goes for you especially, because I'm a person who has a lot of my plants touching each other. And since this has happened, I don't have my collection like that anymore. A lot of my plants are a lot more spread out, or at least as spread out as they possibly can be, because that is how spider mites just kind of multiply in your home, is when your plants are all suctioned together. The way that Adam taught me to look for spider mites was to put them behind or in front of a light or a flashlight so that you can more easily see the webbing of the spiders, and I don't know if they're actually spiders or if they're mites or if they're both, but they make webs, and that is where their eggs live. Maybe they crawl on them. Listen, I haven't done research about what exactly a spider mite is because I don't care. I just know that it kills my plants and I want them gone. Also, if you find like little sections of like white dots that look, you know, like very small eggs, that could also be a spider mite infestation because the eggs will kind of live in the webbing. So when you hold the plant up against the light, you can more easily see all of that webbing. And if you see webbing on your plant, it is almost a guarantee that it is spider mites. If you find it on one plant, you should absolutely check all of the plants surrounding, which is exactly what we did. We just started checking all of my plants, and that is basically what happened next. We were just running around the house, bringing plants up to the light, and it was actually one of Adam's filming lights, and we were just like passing them to him, and he would confirm or deny if it had spider mites. Hey, I have a problem.
Sorry, Nicole.
I don't see it.
It's like,
Are we just paranoid now?
I saw it.
so you see kind of right.
Oh yeah.
Are you sad for mommy? Is it a problem? What's happening? Yes, just in case you decide that you want to do a video later on down the road.
All right.
I'll send it to you. What are you using over there?
This is insecticidal soap.
Clean leaf style.
That was so funny. Garden safe.
All right.
I talked about this in a previous video where I talked about preventative measures, but obviously didn't work. This is a f***ing disaster. At that point, I had started to like power wash them because you can power wash your plants that have spider mites, and sometimes that helps if it's not that bad. But when I watched videos as to like how to get rid of spider mites, I learned that their webs are not water soluble. Basically, their webs are waterproof, so it's not always enough to just spray them really hard with water. So once I had finished spraying them all off, I isolated them and I put them all just next to each other along a wall in my house. And that section of my house is super neutral. I was so terrified that the plants in my bathroom would get spider mites, and I was just about to say, none of those plants were infected. And if you're not familiar with my collection and like how it works, all of my like super prized or more expensive, quote unquote, rare plants live in my bathroom because it is super humid in there because I have my Lavoie in there. It's a small room, so I'm able to keep it pretty humid. None of those plants were infested, thank God. And I really think that is because it stays so moist in there. So spider mites really don't like moisture. They're not going to attack plants that are in consistent humidity, and that is not a hard and fast rule. So don't think that you're immune to this. It's less likely to happen to your plants that are in higher humidity situations. So all of those plants were totally fine. They're completely isolated from everybody else, so that was really nice. Since I didn't have like a solution at that moment, like a cleaning solution, I just left them in the neutral space. And also because we had like an entire night planned of things to do with me, Adam, and Nicole, I just kind of left them there. I dealt with them the next morning. Okay, so it is day 2 of the spider mite war, and I am doing the second treatment of my plants. Honestly, probably treating all of my plants because a lot of my plants touch each other, which is something that Rachel from Heart Shaped Leaves, I'm watching her spider mites video. So what she just said in the video is to use a makeup brush, like a really rough makeup brush, to dust off the leaves so that you are getting into all the little crevices of your plants. And I don't really do the makeup thing, let's be honest. So I have a paintbrush, a really crappy paintbrush that I'm going to be using. The bristles are like very rough. Like if I was to use this on my face, it would hurt. This is the bottle from the insecticidal soap, but I made the spray that she recommended in her video, which is 1 part rubbing alcohol, then you put some dish soap in it, and then you fill the rest of it up with water. I filled up probably this much with rubbing alcohol, and then I put like, I don't know, 4 pumps of dish soap, and then I put the rest with lukewarm water, and then shook it up per Rachel's instructions. So what I'm going to do, and it's so frustrating with this type of plant because there are so many leaves on it, but that's okay, we got this. I'm going to go through on every single leaf and do the treatment that she suggested. So let's get started on that. Every single plant that had spider mites, I just scrubbed the crap out of them. And some of them have some scars because I scrubbed a little bit too hard, to be honest with you. And that's just something that I have had to deal with now. Like a lot of the plants that I was scrubbing have like little scratches on them. And so in the future, I'll definitely use something a little bit more soft. So after the first day of treatment, I can tell you right now that I was so downtrodden. That was so much work. I am genuinely tired after that. Like, thank God today's my day off, or else that would have been so terrible to do and then have to go to work afterwards, you know? So if you can see all of those plants right there, I treated all of them. I did throw away a plant because it was so far gone and there was like 1,000 leaves on it and half of them were just, yeah. It would have been too much work, honestly. And when you have like half your collection covered in spider mites, you kind of have to make some executive decisions. I've thrown away 2 plants so far that just did not feel worth it to save, which kind of goes against a lot of things that I wanted to do this year, but I just cannot sit through cleaning off 100 more syngonium leaves, to be honest with you. And knowing that I have to do this again tomorrow is horrifying. I feel like I'm like getting high off of rubbing alcohol. I'm gonna take a break and just kind of lay on the couch. With all of that being said, I do feel confident that I am like doing better with the spider mites thing. I think that my plants that I've washed and cleaned with the paintbrush are gonna be fine. No one is immune from these kinds of pests, you know? I thought I was, and I'm not. I was really emotional about it because, I mean, as I've talked about before, I'm like very emotionally connected to my plants and I put a lot of time and effort and love into them. And so when something like this happens, I was just like really shaken up. It was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. So with basic spider mite treatment, you're going to want to treat your plants for 3 days, wait for 5 days, and then treat again for 3 days. The reason that you do it that way is because the spider mites, if they did lay eggs in the soil or anything like that, they will come up after that 5-day mark. So when you're dealing with pests, you have to be aware of their life cycle, and that is something that I have become abundantly aware of because after we dealt with all of the spider mites, Leo came down with fleas, and that has been genuinely the worst pest I've ever had to deal with, but that is an entirely other conversation, and he's okay now. He's on medication, so hopefully he will never ever have fleas again. I've learned my lesson. Get on those preventatives. I'm going to get on my soapbox and make sure that you're doing preventative treatment on your plants and your pets for all of the pests that want to kill them. So another thing that I did in this first process of finding spider mites, because spoiler alert, I found spider mites on more plants after I finished the very first treatment, which was very frustrating, but it was only on, I think, 3 other plants. But I'm glad that I found it, and I'm glad that I now know what to look for, because I felt like, though it was really sad to find them, I felt a little bit more encouraged that I would be able to detect them in the future, like without my friends, because if my friends were not there, I genuinely don't think that I would have ever realized that I had spider mites. Now looking back, I have had spider mites before because I remember egg-looking things on the back of the leaves and I just never knew what it was, so I just wiped it off and the plants were always fine. Okay, so it's been 6 days since the last time I filmed for this video, so that was the last time that I treated for spider mites. And I should have done the treatment yesterday, but yesterday was Sunday and I did not want to do it. And I was sitting in my office / filming space and I noticed that 2 more plants had spider mites on them. It's very frustrating. It's super frustrating. They were not there when we checked the first time, so that just means that like any one of my plants could be fair game for the spider mites. So I'm going to treat all of the plants that I treated last time and the 2 that I've just found, and then kind of just separate them so I know what cycle and treatment they're in. And then I'm gonna go around and check all of my plants again. Also, something that I'm doing different is the brush that I was using was a little bit harsh. This is what I was using. So today I'm going to be using an old toothbrush, an old bamboo toothbrush, and these bristles are much softer and there's a lot more of them in close proximity, so hopefully that will just be a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just gonna be toothbrushing my plants. I'm not seeing any new spider mites on this plant. This is one of the ones that was pretty badly infected. I'm just doing a flashlight. I'm blocking the light with the leaf so that if there is any sort of web, it'll look kind of sparkly and reveal itself. But I don't see anything on this plant, which is a really, really big relief because this one was pretty bad. Eventually, I got lazy and I stopped scrubbing all of the leaves. Like in the second treatment, I think that I only scrubbed them for 1 day in the second round of treatment, and then after that, I got a product called 8, and that's just a mixture that someone on Instagram told me to grab, and it worked very, very well. That is what I used in most of the second half of the treatment, like also when I found the second round of bugs. So 8 was really nice, but if you want something that you can just make at home really fast, then Rachel's mixture would be really great. And also maybe even just like a combination of the two, like I did, treating the first round with the Rachel combination, the Rachel recipe, and then the second round with 8. You know, that would be a really great solution. I also did use a little bit of insecticidal soap here and there. That seemed to work as well, but I don't know how that would work. Like, hey, I'm filming a video.
Oh, you are?
Literally right now.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, my mom just called me and we talked for a little bit. So something that I didn't really think about when I was cleaning up my house from spider mites, well, I was really cleaning up the plants, was cleaning up my house. So I was talking with somebody on Instagram. Her name is Gretchen, or Greenhouse Girl 94. She's so knowledgeable. She was telling me that something that a lot of people forget is to clean up the surfaces surrounding your plants. And you can do this as like a preventative thing as well. If you want to keep your house pest free preventatively, you can clean all of the surfaces of your plants and make sure that it is very clean and there isn't a lot of excess of dust or dirt on your shelves, on your windowsills, all of these types of things. That's just good for like general home cleanliness, but it's also really good in eradicating a pest or just preventing a pest. So what I did was I got out my cleaning solution and I just started cleaning off all of the windowsills, the shelves, everything like that. I just removed the plants and I was just scrubbing it up. I do that every once in a while when I notice it's getting dirty, but I definitely don't do it as often as I should. So yeah, with that said, I think that that is pretty much all I wanted to say in this story time. Just know that if you find out that you have spider mites and you have a full-on panic attack, you freak out, you just are extremely grossed out, concerned, whatever it may be, that's so normal, and just know that I'm with you in that. And I felt like a terrible, terrible plant mom after I found this out. But just know that everybody gets spider mites at some point or another. I, for one, thought that I was invincible, and that is just not true. No one is immune, and if you do get these kinds of things, you're okay. Your house is fine. Everything is going to work itself out. I hope that this gave you a good laugh. I hope that it helped you in your journey with spider mites. If you are interested in checking out this pillow on Amazon, I will have it linked down below. And again, the discount code is DaylaPlants15 for 15% off. I will, of course, have all the information on the screen for you to read. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can join us more often. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!